Man, I wish I could have somebody here who could help me write my paper.
Oh, hello there. Sorry, I was just reading my book here. A Short Course in Writing by me, Kenneth A. Bruffy. Notice the nice cover here. So you want to learn how to write a short course essay, do you? Well, you've come to the right place. With my book, A Short Course in Writing by me, Kenneth A. Bruffy, even you can become a good writer. Now let us start with the soul, the life force, the blood of the paper. The proposition.
But what's a proposition?
A proposition is a statement that you explore, explain, or defend in a way that will lead readers to think it's convincing, worth considering, or persuasive enough to refute.
So you're writing a paper on William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. Let's hear your proposition.
Although Caesar dies in the end of Act 3, his character dominates the whole play.
No. That's far too wordy. Here is how I, Kenneth A. Bruffy, would do it. Split up the sentence into two parts, a subordinate clause and a main clause. Try keeping just the second part, the main clause. It contains the subject and the verb. Your proposition should be short. Wordy propositions are imprecise and vague.
I have my proposition. Now what?
Why, it's easy, Billy. A reason is an ingredient to the essay, one that helps readers understand or agree with some other statement that is more comprehensive and important than itself. Your reason should always relate back to your proposition. Now make sure that you explain your reason at the beginning of your body paragraph. After you've got your proposition and your reasons, thirdly, create your introduction. Your task in the introduction is to make your readers feel willing to put aside their own interests and concerns for a moment and consider your interests and concerns.
Well, Kenneth Bruffy, how can I do that?
Why, it's easy, Johnny. Here are some examples. Explain the assumptions you are making. Tell an amusing or striking story or an anecdote. Describe the problem. Quote an authority, or give some historical background.
So now that I'm this far, what's next?
Exactly! What is next? Your conclusion should answer the what's next of your essay. Your conclusion should give your reader a reason for reading your essay. Now that you've done your essay, it's time for a descriptive outline. Your descriptive outline is made up of two parts. A statement that explains what the essay says, and a statement that explains what the essay does. Do this for each paragraph in your essay.
Man, I wish I had somebody here who could help review my paper.
Now, you have someone to give you a peer review.
Wow, how do you do that?
Well, first, write a descriptive outline of your partner's essay. Next, evaluate the essay's writing technique. Talk about what is effective and what could be improved. Third, evaluate the essay's content. See if you agree with the essay's point or accept the essay's assumptions. Explain why or why not. Now, trade your paper back and write a response to your peer review. If you want to be more effective, you can do a second peer review and repeat the same process, touching upon the ideas in the first peer's review. Well, son, it looks like my time here is done. I'd like to introduce my colleague, Joseph Harris, author of Rewriting. Goodbye!
Hey there, I'm Joseph Harris. While Bruffy discussed how to build your essay, I'll be discussing on how to think of intellectual writing as an adaptive and social activity. So let's start off with some coming to terms.
What's that?
Well, coming to terms with a text helps you define the project. You can do this by finding the aims, the methods, and materials of the writer. You can note key words or passages in the text by asking the question, what aspects of this text stand out for me as a reader, and using the quotes to further your own ideas, and assessing the uses and limits of this approach by working with positive opposing terms rather than simple antitheses. Another technique to help with intellectual writing is the idea of forwarding. Forwarding is when a writer uses ideas in pre-existing text in order to shift the focus of readers towards their own projects. There are 4 ways to help with forwarding. Illustrating, by referencing key moments in a text. Authorizing, or backing up ideas. Borrowing, using the ideas to relate to their own thoughts. And extending, or taking a different view of the text.
It tells us, just as it did 10 and 20 and 30 years ago, that what's most important about women is how we look.
Jean Kilbourne's so stupid. I hate her.
Hey there, Johnny. That's not countering. While forwarding aligns your text to another, countering individualizes it. There are 3 ways to go about countering. 1. Arguing the other side, or showing the usefulness of a term of idea that a writer has criticized, or noting problems with one that he or she has argued for. 2nd, by uncovering values, or defining or examining concepts that the author left out. And lastly, dissenting, or noting the limitations of ideas and opinions by the author.
Wow! Thanks, Joseph Harris. I have so many great ideas for my paper.
Negative. You don't. They're not actually your own ideas. They are actually your stance on somebody else's own ideas. But here are 3 ways to help take an approach on positioning your own work in relation to others. 1. Acknowledging influence by noting writers whose work has proved as a model for your own. 2. Turning an approach on itself by asking the same question of a writer that he or she asks of others. And finally, reflexivity, or noting and reflecting on key choices you have made.
Thanks, Harris. And thanks, Bruffy. Now I'm gonna go write my own awesome essay.
Steven, come get your dinner.
Coming, Mama Shira.